His head.
Hammerhead,
Aha.
like the Spider-Man villain, which I
Yeah.
legally am. Did you know that I cannot legally appear in a MCU live-action film? And
Oh,
that Spider-Man cannot appear legally in a live-action television project from the MCU.
that makes sense.
That
Because I
is
feel like
why
otherwise
they are making
Spider-Man...
Spider-Man Noir on Amazon Prime, because that is Sony, and they allowed to do that. He's like a caveman. He doesn't use connectives.
So that does literally mean that the Kingpin can never meet Spider-Man
I'm actually not too sure about the
in
first
the
thing that I
MCU.
said. But it feels correct, especially when you look at what's happened. Like, when's the last time we saw Kingpin in a film? Spider-Verse. It's I mean, actually, that doesn't really line up because it's like, yeah, I mean, the animation thing doesn't. It's strange. It's strange, but I think we've all benefited from Kingpin being a Daredevil villain instead, because
Well, it seems like I don't know.
oh, that really hurts my voice, my throat.
Yeah, the MCU has had Kingpin for like fucking ages, right? Way longer than anything else. So it feels like it might not have bought Kingpin like the others. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well,
Who knows? I don't
that's
even know.
great, because I don't know either.
Did they buy like Spider-Man and all of his associated villains, or did they just buy Spider-Man and they just borrow the villains?
Um.
Seems like they
Oh
bought Venom.
God, Venom. Well, I mean, no. Well, Disney definitely didn't have Venom, do they? Like, very much a Sony thing. Venom.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't. I can't.
Although I swear Venom's on Disney Plus. I've seen it.
I don't think it is. I don't.
No, I don't think it should be either. But I swear I saw like a Marvel Rivals tab on Disney Plus and it had Venom on it.
I don't think it should be. I don't think it should.
Or it's like a screenshot that someone else had. But yeah,
I
think
don't
we
think it
need
should be.
a formal layout for this video.
Why?
Like,
I felt like you
because
were
otherwise I
expecting
think we'll
to
get lost.
Well, what? So, do you want to go
Like,
backwards? or
overall
something?
plot is like the beginning, or overall thoughts. Maybe like a spoiler-free.
How about our
minute.
introduction to Daredevil?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because unlike you, actually probably have, because didn't you watch the original film, the Ben Affleck film, like when you were younger?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I definitely didn't, which means you actually have an earlier like.
Well, because I do have thoughts on that.
Substantiated introduction to Daredevil, where you've actually consumed something from him much earlier than I did.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I would say, like, I talked to Mum about it because I mentioned that the show was going on, and she doesn't remember the film, but she does know who Daredevil is.
Yeah.
Which the only real way you know who Daredevil is if you watch that movie, realistically, because
not the only
us,
way. It's
our age, right? Like, my mum had no idea any of the Netflix shows were occurring. I don't think she knew any of that.
I mean, that's
and
kind
so
of
the only way that
well,
she just casually knew of Daredevil is because of that movie that she doesn't remember watching, but I know we did.
Great.
But it's kind of interesting that Daredevil is as popular as he is, just generally. Like, he is one of the most popular fucking things, even though I don't think that movie is regarded in particularly high standards.
It's kind of like changed a bit. It's almost like it's almost like it's garnered a cult following, but it's like almost like a more mainstream cult following, where it's like there's definitely a lot wrong with it, but it's also like this is not a bad like attempt at this at all, really. It's also got one of the best. It's also got one of the worst. No, sorry, not the worst. That's the opposite of what I meant. I think you literally just said worst, and it surgically implanted that into my speech code. It's got one of the best examples of race bending, I think, in a lot of things, which is Kingpin.
Yeah, had a black Kingpin.
Michael Clark Duncan, who's awesome. I haven't even seen the film. I just know that's a good pick for Kingpin. Just as much as he would have been a very good Luke Cage as well. But they're sort of like They're almost similar. You know what I mean? I mean, there is something that happens in Luke Cage season 2 where he becomes like something. I don't think it's the mayor, but it's like something similar to that. And I think that would have been far more interesting because I know that they're going to be doing something with an opponent to Fisk in season 2 of Born Again. But it's not Luke Cage; it's some random woman running for mayor, which is like she's gonna die. Let's be honest, she's gonna be fucking murdered. Kingpin's probably gonna tear her fucking tongue out and then wrap it around her neck or something at this point because he's just getting.
There's nothing that show wants to do more than move away from the Netflix stuff for some fucking reason. If it's not Punisher and if it's not thingy, they just like get rid of it. Get rid of them. We don't care.
Even though it very clearly does, and this is why we need structure to this because it's actually really difficult to dissect a show that is so clearly being dissected before it even came out or was dissected while being made.
What they want to keep, what they don't really particularly give a shit about.
Because
which I would say Punisher's entire show is not it doesn't matter. Right.
It also does not matter. It's like I mean, I wouldn't say the effects have felt, but this is literally the biggest thing I can say, like right off the bat about Born Again that I like, I guess, or not even like necessarily. It's just the fact is, no matter how bad someone thinks this is, and how many things they could point out as criticisms that I could probably agree with, it wouldn't be like a lot of stuff. It's
I'm gonna be sure to do.
It's like. It doesn't make, even though they started off with something like that, which I guess we actually are going to separate this by spoilers and stuff because I clearly didn't want to say what the first major spoiler was. Even doing that though, which everyone knows about as well. I don't know why we keep being cagey, but it still doesn't feel like it's taking away from the original series like at all. I don't know if that's just me though. I'm notorious, or at least to myself, I'm notoriously good at this, which is compartmentalizing. I'm not saying I actually am notorious for it because I'm not famous, but it's something I'm good at.
I don't even know what this is, but like, there's nothing to discredit. The only thing that carries over is John Bernthal Punisher. It's it. Full stop. Like Micro, fucking Detective, whatever her name is.
Well, I was talking about the original Daredevil series.
Right.
I guess I could say both. I don't think this is takes away from anything that's come before.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I mean, obviously, I'm very good at working like that anyway. Like, I barely feel like that's happened with Halo, and I know that it has. But it's like, so it's definitely a me thing, but they've done pretty well. And the reason why it's difficult to talk about this is because, like I said, this is literally a show that's been dissected beforehand, and there are literally two creative teams, because you talked about, like, it's like, clearly they only wanted to carry over certain stuff, but, like, where that stuff has been carried over, that is by the people, I guess what you could call the new creative team, who clearly want to carry over everything that they can. The one thing that they couldn't change was that one big decision, loss of something.
To be honest, I don't know how far does spoilers extend. The first 10 minutes of the first episode.
Okay. I guess we actually that's probably one that we the thing that we shouldn't immediately spoil is like the finale, I guess, really. But we can spoil the fact that Foggy Nelson fucking dies.
Yeah, maybe, probably, almost definitely,
and almost definitely not.
For some reason, that door is slightly open.
Well, it's open because it's like it's like a comic thing. It's like this has happened in a very similar way, in the comics. But it just all I think about when that's brought up is how is that going to, if that's the case, if he is still alive, how are they going to make that feel good? Like, how are they going to? It's not even just like that it won't feel good. Like it's like the moment in season 3 where like Matt literally finds Foggy and he's like, it's like, hello, I'm alive, and then they hug, and it's like it's nice, but it's just like, and it would probably be nice, at the same
Well,
time,
it was
I
depicted as Matt
cannot
being like a
conceptualize.
super dick in that like event though, and like it's just not in Foggy's nature to do that.
No,
Right, that's literally the
no.
point, right?
It's so
Like,
hard to conceptualize a reason why he would fake his own death, and then which is why the way I would do it if they had to. First of all, I don't think I would bring him back. By the way, if it was up to me, I think it's something that they need to stick with, but not that I would have chosen to do it. Not saying I would have done it in the first place, by the way, but it would have to be something where he faked his own death without knowing he was faking his own death. If you know what I mean.
no,
Like
no,
it
no.
was set
I
up
think
for him.
no.
Yes.
If the only chance that he actually did it on purpose is because Foggy did know, which actually this is a spoiler to the final episode.
Yeah, there
but
is some
I guess
stuff in
I'll
there.
keep it vague. Foggy did know what he had stumbled across, if you get what I mean. Like he did understand what he was about to do would have, had the results that some people feared. Therefore, he expected Bullseye and planned around it somehow and has been hiding until it's all like settled. I'm not sure that it feels bullshit, but it's the only chance that is true. That he faked his death because he knew this would happen with what he found. And yeah, but that's a theory. And I think, yeah, as much as I do want Foggy back, like he is infinitely better than anything they've replaced him with.
Do you know how many memes I've
shallow.
seen? Okay, it's just a spoil I'm kind of gonna have to do because it's actually I kind of no, actually I don't, or I do. It's something from the finale where it's like I guess people were expecting certain in a scene people were expecting certain other characters to appear. Anyone of
Anyone in
note,
that scene?
and it's just fucking Cherry. It's a Cherry and a
Yeah,
bunch of random police officers.
The thing is
I think no, we'll get to that, but
goes,
I think that's gonna
Cherry,
change in a lot. I think it's gonna change a lot in season 2. The idea of that, I don't think they had anyone on board yet who they want on board for season 1. I think there's gonna be a lot.
They just
of
had who
changes
they
there.
already kind of like built up, like in the show, like the good
Also,
cops and.
I don't like Cherry, so I don't know.
No,
No.
he's just kind of a dude.
Well, after you realise that he probably there are other characters that he probably could have been who are like not in the series.
Yeah. I think ultimately he fails. Like he's a lot worse that he's a replacement. Like if he was a new character that worked alongside other characters, then I think he would be quite cool. Like he's his personal PI, right? I think that's kind of fun. But
Or
it's
just
fucking
PI, personal investigator.
he doesn't replace that cop that you like. The one that they kind of knew.
No,
There's
he doesn't
no good
replace
reason
him.
why he isn't in the show.
It's,
Like
Mahoney.
it just feels like another example of they just kind of didn't really want to bring anything over.
Yeah.
Other than Daredevil.
He doesn't replace him, but he effectively does because that guy's not in it, and it would have been a really it would have been a nice way to take that character, and an expected way even. Like I would absolutely expect Mahoney to get like jaded with like the police force and want to become a PI, and also having him with their history, find out that Matt's Daredevil would actually be cool as well.
Especially with the implication that ultimately, like most of the police force, at like the beginning of the show, like most of the police power is vigilante justice. Like I don't know what their stats were, but like 40% of like crime is solved by vigilantes and not the cops or some shit like that.
I don't remember anything like that.
I think there's the implication that like vigilantes are really kind of honestly doing not most of the protecting, but lightening the load with the police. Like the police feel less in need because of all the vigilantes out there. I think there's the implication at the beginning.
Oh dear.
And that kind of thing tied with him finding out Daredevil really could throw him into it, or just help a vigilante instead of the cops, which would work even better with generally how the cops are depicted in the show moving forward. Fast force and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely not pro police officer. It's definitely not pro police. It's definitely.
It's weird because it's also not completely. They're not depicting all cops are bad, but they're not pretending they're all good either.
No, I mean it's doing what something that's taking a stance against sorry, not against, but something that's taking a stance on justice should do, which is be considered but also direct at the same time, where it's just like it's still highlighting that there is a lot of good and people trying to do good, but at the same time it's also highlighting the fact that the bad apples and the really upsetting number of bad apples in the justice system, both in like the system of law and also in the police force, it's being very direct about the fact that those people
I guess
fucking suck. The
it's
bad
doing,
people
like,
in
kind
those
of-
fields are really a big problem in like society.
it's doing, yeah, like I wouldn't say it's doing it well. It is trying to do like
Well, I did say it's being
both
direct.
sides.
It's definitely being direct. It doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
being.
but like both sides have good and bad, right? There are good cops and there are bad cops. But I feel like they haven't really shown enough light on the good cops. Like there's literally is like that one woman during the Irish episode.
The Irish episode. I mean, it is the Irish
Yeah.
episode. It's not a bad way of describing
Yeah,
it.
like she was really like the only notable like good cop, and to be honest, most of the time I thought she was like in on it for some reason. Cause I don't know, it was odd. And there's like good vigilantes, like like White Tiger and all that, and bad vigilantes, which is Muse. But
yeah.
it
I
feels
mean,
weird
I think
that
bringing
Muse
up,
is a vigilante, considering he's clearly like a villain.
I
But
think bringing up those two is actually really good
technically
though,
is.
because so I kind of need to. I want to lay out actually the weird dissection stuff, which is the fact that this is like a series that underwent a creative overhaul pretty late into shooting. This thing is it is later than I realized, and I can't pin down like the original like people very well because it's much more. That's the thing. It's far more people than the sort of more like tangible 3-man team who are sort of who they brought on board. Like
Yeah.
afterwards, and that's the problem. You can already tell too many cooks in the kitchen. Not only shows don't have lots of not only shows never have lots of writers, but at the same time they barely had a showrunner. Like, actually no, I think this is actually true. This is part of the overhaul. Was this is not this is genuinely not bullshit. This is I am paraphrasing though, and I don't know how many things this truly applies to, but this is not an exaggeration either. The fact is Disney did not understand until a certain point, and that point may have been when they had to like overhaul this series, but up to a point they did not understand that shows needed to have showrunners. They thought they could have producers just they thought they could just show run it from the background basically and not have like one guy like who is actually present during the production.
Is that referring to all shows or just Daredevil for some reason?
That's what I mean. It's all Disney Plus shows.
All right.
Yeah. So
which is it implies something.
It implies it tells you why things
definitely can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tells you a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah, but then you can't really rule it out on the good ones either, right? Like,
well, when it comes to the MCU, what are the really good ones? Like, they're the guys who had, they're the guys who had Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead directing, who are the lead directors for Born Again now, along with Darius Gardner-Payne as like the showrunner and lead writer, and that trio did episodes 1, 8, and 9. And therein you kind of understand a lot what's going on, because the original premise, like in terms of like production, was like an 18-episode season, first season, which sounds ridiculous because it's also like more than like, the original. But it's like it's not as ridiculous when you realize the type of show that it was going to end up being, which was like a.
Have you seen what I sent you?
Which
Daredevil?
one?
There was a couple actually, but my source is ultimately Instagram said so. So take that with a pinch of salt. But they don't tend to lie generally, unless it's April 1st.
Will someone do that?
But
go on the internet and tell lies.
They kind of said that they intend to just keep making Daredevil, like, and have like a season every year, like they, which I think is interesting. Because the shows on Disney Plus so far have not been like that, right? None of them are continuous shows. They're more like shows to get a character or a storyline from A to B, right?
Yeah.
They're not just shows for the sake of show, which That sounds bad, but you know what I mean. Like,
I know what you
just
mean, because
not...
I think that stuff was all done that way because it was both those shows are being both made for a different reason and made in a completely different way. The different way being they were made scattershot. Like it was basically Disney and like, well, I guess sort of the producer, like the ring of producers who were like trying to sort out because now only recently does Marvel have like its actual branches split. Like Marvel Television is a distinct entity now from Marvel Studios. They're still unified under the MCU, but they're separate like studios. And it has its own like own Kevin Feige basically. I mean Kevin Feige's still number one, but it used to be like someone else when it was like at Netflix, which was much more disjointed. And then when it brought it over, it was Kevin Feige, but he was stretched far too thin. And they also, given what I just said about showrunners, they clearly didn't have like dedicated teams for the shows.
Yeah.
And now they do. They have an actual team of people who are going to stay with Daredevil.
Yeah, which makes sense because it was literally like you could go through the show and you could see the point. Like WandaVision, introduce what happened to Wanda after she lost Vision, and then like put her in a place to where she finds the Darkhold, right, for Multiverse of Madness. And you can go through all of the early shows. Loki, new
and
character
introduce
arc,
like
make
and
him
introduce other
become
characters,
the god of
like
time.
Agatha
And yeah,
and
introduce new
Photon.
characters. The Hawkeye, like the new young Hawkeye for, even though I don't think it's even been mentioned, but like everyone's ready for like a Young Avengers thing, right? Like there are all of the characters introduced, and most of those are in the show, in shows like here and there, and yeah. But this Daredevil, it seems like it's finally a show where it is just Daredevil. Right, because if you think about it, right, next season is going to be airing at like the same kind of time as Doomsday, right? Or not like same time, but like the same year time frame. Like while people are probably like the main MCU is going to be
if we
oh
look
my
at
god, the multiverse is like imploding on itself. Daredevil is just I'm building a vigilante team. Like
well,
it is,
if we look
they
at the
are
date
not
now,
connected.
if we look at the date now, and like apparently it will literally be the same time next year, season 2, which is, I mean that's not surprising given that they started filming before season 1 started airing. They've got this shit on lock. But it will be a month from now. Next year is about when Doomsday's coming out. So you know we'll be well into it. And also, it's like things happening in both in Daredevil that should impact other sort of New York-based characters, and then you also have stuff like things. This is the weird stuff where it almost feels like it doesn't almost work in the MCU, where it's like you got something like Thunderbolts coming up, where New York is, you know, assailed by this the void basically, and like it's completely consumed by darkness for however long until I guess the Thunderbolts eventually sort out. It's like, when is that placed? As far as we know, things are fairly chronological at the moment as well, which means that happens. That's going to happen like after this season of Daredevil.
Like it's like a time frame, right? Like Foggy. I'm not sure when you are supposed to think when Foggy died, but yeah, I think it is about now, right? Daredevil is like set. Like the 1 year later is skipping to now.
Yeah, it's usually what it is. I mean, I think it was like 7 years since. It was. I think it's actually. Thing is, I think it's actually been longer than it kind of was, or it's been 7 years since actually. That's either before or after the time jump. That's the thing I don't know, because 7 years would be accurate because season 3 came out in 2018, and this is 2025.
Yeah.
Goodness me. How the time flies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it shouldn't affect it. That's what I'm thinking, right? Is that I mean, it will in like a technical way, like how the beginning of Daredevil, it talks about the incident in New York, 2012. You know, the aliens attack. Like, I think it is going to be. It's something that isn't going to be inherently seen or shown, but referred to just casually, right? like I don't know, like in season 3 maybe it might be set after Thunderbolts and stuff like that. They'll just
Well,
or
season
the events
two
of
should
Doomsday.
be. Although actually, no, I doubt that because I think
Season 2 seems to
season
be
two,
happening like now,
yeah,
like
yeah, I'd
it's going to
say
be
so. It's
continuing
directly afterwards. Yeah, yeah. There's no
Yeah.
way it isn't.
unless there's another time jump where he's like gathering people.
Well, no, there
which
could be, but there wouldn't be.
well, I guess.
It would at least start in the same way. It would at least start. I imagine season 2 starting like almost there. Like
Yeah.
right after, like right where season 1 ends, like literally.
Then
in the
again,
moment.
I agreed, but also kind of disagree.
And something else happens. Everyone gets shot. Cherry gets shot in the fucking head, and so does everyone else in that
Yeah.
bar, except Karen and Matt. And it's like, okay.
I feel like I think a modicum time jump is warranted because not much is happening. If you know what I mean, like I feel like you want to wait until Fisk's plans are like multiple steps deeper, before you pick it back up again, right? Like I feel like there is like, you know, otherwise he's just going to be slowly building up to a point where like his harbor is setting up, and that should take a while. Or you can skip like half a year, and like his harbor is almost done, and Daredevil has to start like like the plans have to start actually occurring, or you know there'll be time jumps in between episodes. But I don't know. I think I'm excited for next season, which is good news. It's only next year, right? And that they might be every year, moving forward. I do wonder if like there'll be any other show where they think of kind of having do that.
I don't.
Because obviously Punisher's just getting it special, so he's probably not getting his own show.
I think that's going to also. I don't know if I should say pilot for a Punisher revival as well. Probably not, but that's also definitely going to be a pilot to gauge interest again.
The Punisher show was probably not. It's not the most beloved thing out there, right? People love John Bernthal Punisher, but the actual every like character and like story arc of that show, like people don't really care for Jigsaw. Like you know, the main threat of the show just wasn't really anything. I don't even know what the main threat was in season 2. I don't remember.
Well, it's like Jigsaw.
Yeah, but I remember he was not. He got done so like just nonchalantly.
There was a Pilgrim bloke, John Pilgrim.
Yeah. So it
Well, that's what I mean by the special being a gauge, one way or the other.
I guess.
And I think, although I think the real result of that would more so be, well, let's put him in Daredevil again, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Especially because, as good as he was in the show, it was almost a bit too much because, it kind of got to the point in The Punisher, like sort of by the end of it, where he was kind of surrounded by people who actually kind of didn't drag him down, almost. I mean, you think about it, that's literally how Micro convinces him. It's like not the Micro agree with everything that he does, but it's just like I will literally be your guidance system. You're the missile, I'm the guidance system. He's literally there to facilitate Frank's behavior, and then even Madani kind of comes around to it, and things like that. And obviously Karen, his relationship with Frank is interesting, but also she doesn't really condemn what he does, either. Yeah. Like, and that's why having him and Daredevil together works so well. You can't have too much of it. You can definitely get too much of a good thing, but they should be together. I don't want to see him interact with more people. I'd love to see him interact with like Luke Cage as well. I think Punisher interacting with Luke Cage would be awesome because he's so much less. I mean, because I think Matt is still somewhat threatened by Frank, physically speaking, and like doesn't have 100% the confidence needed to completely. Like, I feel like Luke Cage could come the closest to really shaking Frank out. Not, it wouldn't work, but Matt has never even come close to convincing like Frank to change at all. Like not even close. Luke Cage could be the only person who comes closest. I would be interested to see something like that, but I don't. That's like how that would take shape. It's kind of weird because.
But I think that's like the that's the potential future of a long-running Daredevil show, in that ultimately it's called Daredevil, but it's probably would be better described as a like street level New York dictator,
Yeah,
right?
and it's kind of what it
Like,
should be eventually. Like it shouldn't just be Daredevil alone forever. It should.
yeah,
It should
and it
draw
already
on
isn't.
everything happen. It
But,
already isn't. Yeah, it already isn't.
yeah, but like I think a lot of characters who, quite frankly, we never expect to see again. Like, and I would name the big guy, Moon Knight, right? Like Moon Knight has no reason to be in anything else other than the Moon Knight show, unless you have like kind of a street level thing where he can just kind of appear and talk to himself and freak everyone out, right? Like normal Moon
Oh
Knight
yeah, I mean,
behavior.
fucking hell, do I want Punisher and Moon Knight? That's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's one of the best duos there is. And that's
Yeah.
just gleaned from like very sort of sparsely placed sort of comic panels that I've seen. Not I haven't even read these comics. I just know that it's like a very beloved dynamic.
Yeah.
I want to see that for sure. Yeah, it should definitely become like a more holistic, like this is just a street level view of things show, and it's going to draw on all parts
which is
of that.
why it's a real big shame what you mentioned earlier that Spider-Man can never be on it. He would be perfect. Like, can you imagine a fucking episode of the show and just Spider-Man pulls up? How fucking crazy that would be! Like,
Yeah,
especially since Spider-Man and Daredevil are like buddies.
Or should be.
Actually, Harry, is that whole Spider-Man can't be in a show? Was that specifically live action?
Yeah.
It's so weird and annoying, isn't it? Like,
yeah, well, like they were allowed to. Marvel Television, sort of separate from Sony. They made the new Spider-Man
that's what I
animated
was
show.
thinking. Like, oh crap, that's got those two in it. Like,
it's got them in it.
I've seen clips of that.
Yeah. It's exactly, which is why it doesn't feel like something that should last very long at this point, especially if Daredevil is a success, and I think it has been, but it probably needs to be more so, and I think it will be more so, because I think season 2 is probably going to be better, to be honest. It has every reason to be, because that's the thing. You look at like episode 1, and then particularly the last 2 episodes of this season. It's so clearly the new team, just speed running up to the point that they wanted to be at for their first season, really. If you know what I mean. It's kind of like we will sort of stitch together everything, because all the other stuff. It's they still did film a lot of extra stuff that was in the other episodes. To make it work a bit better with their version, but it's still a lot of it's still intact, but where there's been a split in two, I do think the original story for the second half of the show, when it was one really long season, I think that's been completely evaporated and been replaced with what they're doing now, and which is why season 2 is going to be more like what season 1 would have been if they had it from the start,
And I don't.
It would have been a bit longer. They could have done it in like a normal Daredevil season length, with like the first few episodes could have literally been what their episodes of this season were. And it's like, okay, Kingpin's mayor, Bullseye's out, all these kind of things done pretty quickly, like in 3 episodes or so.
I do think it is, because I think unless we haven't said it, I think at this point I'm going to say spoiler, because for the final episode, kind of need to talk about the end of the final episode to talk about what to look forward to in season 2. But the fact that Bullseye is still around, right, and he's just around, I think is really quite cool.
I think the fact that Bullseye is he's so like chaotic evil isn't even the right word, because he's someone you could see swinging. Oh no, it is. But honestly, I do think this is going in the direction of them briefly teaming up. I think that's where this is going.
Yeah, because it's the way it implied, like the ending scene. It isn't depicting him as like a villain as much. Like, I didn't know what the building he was in was. I feel like I should.
I don't think it
But
was. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't catch anything to do with the building. And I haven't. I
he was
didn't
just
see
kind of in a
anyone.
dilapidated building, and he was like looking around, and it was like, well, I don't recognize this place. But like the fact that he like, I don't know, is kind of piecing himself together, I guess, which isn't a great thing because he's a horrible person. Just like rule of thumb, like like he's never gonna be a good guy, right? There's a simple fact of the matter. He's an absolute fucking monster. But I think he could maybe see the sun through the clouds for like a little bit.
Well,
Like
he is also
stop.
a implement to be used against Kingpin. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Because he almost was in the end of season 3. It's just that
I still
that
find
went
it.
too many ways.
I still find it odd, and this is definitely a spoiler. Why he shot Kingpin and not Vanessa? Like, like I guess because Kingpin ordered him to be killed, in prison. But like he was aiming up because it was at the beginning of the final episode. He was aiming up Vanessa and then changed to Fisk. Which
Yeah, I don't know.
odd.
That. Well, this is also something that should be said. I am pretty confident that things are going to get better, but I really don't think even in sort of I guess the overhauled episodes, they're not entirely. There are moments that sort of do confuse me a bit. I don't find entirely well-rounded bits of storytelling. Like that scene is actually one of the. It was a good scene pacing wise, tension wise, but I don't think it made sense. Like I don't know why Matt took the bullet. I don't.
Well, luckily they actually mentioned that, and he said, "I don't know." My problem is that he just said, "I heard someone say gun and I jumped." That doesn't make sense. Like, if you're a fucking person, like, because it was his like girlfriend or realistically ex, if I'm gonna look at it like,
I think I think the way this is going is very clear.
Yeah. And that other woman that he works with, who I don't know the name of,
Kirsten.
Yeah. There is no person with a mind that is like, oh, he heard gun. No one knew there was a gun. There was no one that screamed gun until the shot was fired. That didn't happen. And even if he heard gun, he's blind. How did he know which way to jump? Like, it doesn't make sense to be like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, no, it's fucking stupid.
Well, it was, to be fair, even he was delirious. He was just giving a half-baked excuse.
Yeah, and they believed him.
Well, I think it worked in Heather's case because I think she was kind of wanted to leave, to be honest.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I guess it's a question as to whether or not Ben actually finished telling her that he was Daredevil.
I think she realized in the hospital because I think this is not that it's kind of annoying because I think she was a very sensible character and I don't think that's completely gone, even though they're kind of going a certain way with her. That's kind of actually gonna make her they're going away with her. That's actually going to make people not liking her justified. Clearly.
Yeah.
But it's not like it wasn't set up in that I think she figured it out in the hospital, and also they established that she kind of has disdain for vigilantes and masked heroes and people.
Because of the whole like Muse is just a bad vigilante, and she had that experience with him. Yeah, she is anti-vigilante.
It confirmed something she'd already said though. She'd already made this position, stated this to Matt.
No, she wasn't anti-vigilante. She wanted to talk to vigilantes. She wanted to understand them.
Yeah, but she sees them as like a subject almost, like research.
Sure. Well, she finds them interesting, and now she just hates them and wants them gone. I think she got an answer from Muse and Daredevil ultimately that they're just violent people who want to hurt people. Right, because I think that's what people kind of like when she said I saved myself. Right, everyone's giving shit. That it was just her. Like I do think she saw Daredevil like just there to beat someone up. Ultimately, like she saw, which is something they explored in the first couple of seasons of Daredevil. Right, is that ultimately is he just Daredevil because he wants to punch someone? like and get away with it? And the answer is probably yeah. Right? I think that was the conclusive answer. Is that you know the Murdoch boys just have the demon in them. They just want to get hurt and hurt someone, like. And Daredevil was kind of just a justified excuse for that, which is I think what she saw.
Yeah.
Which obviously, you know, people are really taking that statement and fucking running with it. Like I saved myself, and then it like cuts to her being like choked, and Daredevil like saving her.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she did. You know, she did shoot Muse, shot him dead. She kind of did save herself in a way.
Yeah, but people just want to hate women, so let them do it.
But I think it's worth talking about Muse because I think it's worth talking about the fact that even though this show has clearly been like chopped up quite a bit, it's I think to pretend like the only good of the show is like the stuff from the new team is very dishonest. To be honest, I think the first half. I think the only sore spot is probably the 2 Muse episodes. And even then, only the second one. I think the first one's pretty good. Wait, that's where it actually has Matt's decision to finally actually put the fucking suit back on. Jesus Christ.
I was expecting Muse to do something. It's a simple fact of the matter. Ultimately, Muse existed, so Daredevil put the suit back on.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That is it. Full stop. That was all Muse was added for, because he didn't actually do anything, right? Like that's it. He didn't kill anyone important. He didn't make any big changes to the status quo, other than having Daredevil put the suit back on. That's all he was for, which is a real fucking shame because I think he could have been quite cool.
Well, I guess he gives them general in universe credence to Fisk's like stance of like the anti-vigilante stuff, given it's like this definitively malicious.
Except the fact that like they hid the fact that they hid Muse's existence for most of its time, and then they took credit for his killing, sure, but you really don't feel the value of that, right? Like considering, like, I think it's a weird angle that they have. The BB's kind of camera feed, like the opinions of the people, like the task force claiming Muse kill or Muse dying really didn't mean that much. Like people didn't change their mind on the task force because they killed Muse. Like they were just like, oh yeah, Daredevil did it. Like Daredevil saved the day, and it didn't vindicate. It redeemed. Like, people were like, oh, Daredevil's back. Cool. We good vigilantes are here.
Daredevil's back.
It didn't really,
It's like Calculon. I wouldn't say they made a particularly clear stance for the people on the task force anyway, to be honest. Well, apparently, all the stuff with the BB report, like on the streets talking to people, is actually like real, like random people, which is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know how exactly you would do that because you'd have to
found random people in New York and then like made them part of it. Like,
yeah, but it's kind of weird because I mean that, which is cool, but I don't know how you actually really go about that necessarily because you still have to like explain, what you're doing, like give them a prompt, but they're still not actors basically.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Well, I think it's worth talking about Muse because I think it represents basically kind of the structure of the original show, which is clearly going to be like sort of these snapshots of like cases and sort of like situations sort of Matt would work through. They would either be cases or like legal cases or purely vigilante endeavors or maybe a mix of both. Whereas like White Tiger was a very legal one entirely and was also quite good. It's a very strong start in terms of like making that side of things work and feel very compelling because it's kind of the first time he had to do something like that because he kind of did, I guess, with Spider-Man, but that was like a very short moment, snapshot from a film. It's not really part of a show. He doesn't really have to
I
defend someone like this.
I completely forgot he was in that when I watched it just the other day. I got blindsided when Matt Murdock pulled up, and oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like because he's defended.
Yeah.
They obviously defended Punisher before, but it's also different because it's Punisher. It's just a different case. White Tiger Hector Ayala is a very good-natured vigilante. He's actually he's a better person, I'd say, than Matt. Really, for sure. Both in terms of him and like and the vigilante side. And so that was just very effective and promising, and even like the end of it being a really bittersweet ending still set things up nicely. As in, I think that was all the whole thing was very promising up till that point. And beyond that point, most of it was pretty good. Is what I'm saying of this show. Even though even though it's still I think it's still probably the worst season of Daredevil. Unfortunately,
I'm not going to say that.
I can say that, and most people will. They will, but there's still, I think, a fair bit more good than bad. I wouldn't say like an insane skewering where it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with this. No, there's actually quite a lot wrong with it. But there's also a lot I like also more of the side characters than I thought I would. But at the same time, it's like two is what I'm actually talking about. There's only two side characters I like, which is Buck and Daniel. Daniel being the little
Are they both the Fiskoons?
Yes. Yes, they are.
I would round that up. I like the woman too. I don't know her name, but
she's a compelling aspect of it.
She's like
I don't find her personality compelling or anything like that. I just think it's like it's just a reasonable side to show of it.
She's just like a standard politician, like she's a politician. She will agree with and help whoever she needs to stay in a job.
She's a stand-in for someone who would be in that situation. Unlike, I feel like someone like Daniel, who is like, he's not a stand-in for anyone because he's such a unique personality, and he's such a little shit as well. He's such a little, little proto kingpin.
He's like a fucking stand-in for like Andrew Tate Sims or Stans. Like he's just someone who will rep a monster just for clout.
I'm gonna be honest, he's fucking Elon Musk to Donald Trump at this point. Although actually it's more natural, I guess, because I feel like Elon Musk has forced himself into like the fucking cabinet because he's not a politician. But Daniel is like just there. I do like him though. I like him quite a bit. He's very entertaining. Especially honestly, even in like the final episode, because he's clearly like immediately gone through his head. He's such like a little shit. He's such a minion. He's a minion. Is what he is.
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of fate that he deserves, but I'm looking forward to it. Like he's gonna have a comeuppance, but I have no idea what it is. So I think it'd be fun. And I think that other guy is slightly odd, if you know what I mean. Like the other one you said, which is like I don't read like one-dimensional replacement from that guy from the first season.
No, I don't either. I don't. Personally. Obviously, he is the like as in literally speaking, he's Fisk's right-hand man. Same position.
But I feel like there is a twist that is due. I think he's going to fill it where the right-hand man betrays Fisk, personally.
Well, Buck Cashman in the comics is a character called Bullet, and I don't know who that is. I don't know if Bullet is a good character or not. That's the thing. And I am looking it up. Okay, he's not. He's not like he doesn't seem to be much of a superhero type. Marvel database. Buck Cashman. Is he actually called Bullet? He is no alias Bullet.
Okay. Bullet is a mercenary who serves as an agent of the United States government assigned to perform covert activities So, you know, is that he's a Black Ops agent with the highest imaginable clearance. So, yeah, he probably is actually a spy. In his ranks in Kingpin.
Yeah. Either way, I do I like him. I think he's definitely more. Yeah, he is. He is more than just like a stand-in for Wesley. And I think people saw that.
He hasn't done it, showed much yet though. Like he hasn't played that card, but it feels like he's holding it.
Well, no, because I feel like the obvious difference already is the fact that I think Wesley got stuff done through the clout that he carried by being, just Kingpin's, like carrying Kingpin's name.
He was Kingpin's face, yeah.
But Buck is actually the opposite. Almost, he's more so in the shadows.
Yeah,
there to like sort of protect or
literally
and enforce her. Like, I don't think Wesley. Actually, no. Hold on. Isn't there a scene where Wesley literally like doesn't he kill one of the Russians by injecting him with something in the hospital? Is that Wesley?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing that he got Buck to do, and then Buck didn't actually kind of failed. I like the idea of Matt Murdock running home, like in nothing but a hospital gown. This blind man with his ass out.
I just like that scene.
What scene?
Like, just that scene. It's just like just average, like, because that's honestly the main difference of Daredevil compared to like most of the other superheroes. Like Daredevil's awareness, like literally, like, obviously, but like that's part of the specific coolness of Daredevil is that you don't really get a jump on him. Like that kind of scene, like Daredevil just saw it coming immediately and completely evaded that situation. Where meanwhile, like the Punisher would have been lying in bed and then had like a big fight to the death in that room, right? Where Daredevil just escapes, just avoids, like perfectly. And it's just a cool, unique part of Daredevil compared to other superheroes.
You know, so in the sort of in the fight scene in Matt's apartment, actually everything with Frank is actually in slow motion.
In slow motion, yeah.
All of
that was a really weird choice. It was really disorientating, to be frank. It didn't look good.
No, it's a bit strange.
A universal problem, I think, with
I think
this entire show.
The action is actually worth talking about because it's like I think there was some promise
fake.
where they obviously went for a one in the first episode, but you compare across the entire season compared to any season of Daredevil, and it
actually, I completely forgot that the fight against Bullseye in the first episode was, other than that really sloppy floppy CGI landing on the roof, was very clean and very nice.
Well, it was at least promising, but you just look at it on the whole, it doesn't hold a candle to any of the seasons of original Daredevil.
No, it doesn't.
Action-wise.
All of it's really weirdly fake-looking blood. Like, every time. Like, it's really, like, bad-looking, constantly. Which, like, is it. The fights look bad. It's the simple fact of the matter. Like,
honestly, the best fight scene might
really
have
quick and cutly,
probably Daredevil versus Muse in Muse's hideout. To be honest,
I wouldn't even say that. I do think it was those two at the beginning, the first scene. I think it was that. I think 2 might be Muse because there wasn't too much gore. But then I think 3, and it's the opposite of this, there was tons of gore, but I just enjoyed it so much, was the Punisher fight near the end of the final episode.
Well, yeah, that one was good.
I fucking loved that fight. All of the gore looked terrible, but I didn't give a shit. That was just pure Punisher.
Well, the Punisher's also very different because the Punisher does not have to have Daredevil style insane, highly choreographed fight scenes to be like exciting to watch. Because he did. It was pretty good. But my favorite moment, in terms of that, honestly, one of my favorite moments of the series, but also just because this is just my favorite moment of all of the Punisher stuff in the entire thing was literally the first thing that he does after he's gone out by himself, which is when he just comes out of like the shadows and just slits that guy's throat. It's like that's Punisher, or that's one side of Punisher, just pure, very quick but bloody, stealthy takedown one guy. Because when it comes to killing and just dealing with people,
just brutal efficiency.
Brutal
right?
efficiency. It doesn't like Frank can absolutely fight like a coward, except for. Well, actually, not entirely, because he will still fight. But there's something they do in the first season Punisher. Like he doesn't use bombs. That's one thing he doesn't do. He doesn't do remote detonations. But he will absolutely be a sniper or stealth
like when he's
combat.
introduced in Daredevil season 2, like he just guns down a room full of mobsters, like from the outside. Just they had no idea it was coming. Just murdered them the entire room. That's just as simple as. Like he doesn't care about fair fights when it comes to criminals. But he also likes to do it himself. I think that's the thing.
Well, this is the thing about the finale setting up season 2 more than it doing much else with Daredevil, in that it was actually not that it was a bad thing, and like I do think it's actually very good set up for season 2. I don't think it's a bad thing that he didn't like just go into like the port by himself and try and take it like down, like, you know, the entire task force. Because although I will say, huge. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it would betray anything we've seen from him before. The only reason it could is because it's more in the open. If you put them in a hallway, you put them all in the hallway, they're dead. They're done. But that one didn't work. But when you really look at what happens, when you really look at what happens in the finale, it's actually far more cathartic Punisher-wise than Daredevil-wise.
Oh yeah.
But that's only because there's so much Punisher in it, like kind of, and especially in comparison to the rest. But it's actually a lot of Punisher in it. That's the thing. It's like a weird amount of Punisher, and I want to preface this with, I love it. You know, I have no problem with this, but there's still quite a lot.
The show,
there's still more Punisher than you'd expect, given that he's only had like a single scene before this in the show. I still love it, and this is what shows that they do care about all of the original shows, because it plays with everything that's come before. It's like that there's a dynamic here, even though it's been so long since they've touched base with these characters. It just picks right up.
Calling him Red. I don't know why, but he'd say, "Hey, Red." I love that. It just triggers something in my head.
And it's just like, as soon as you know, it's just like, oh, we got a phone call that changed his mind. It's like, well, that's Karen. It's like the only person who's going to convince him to help Matt is Karen, and it's like, and it just. I didn't actually expect her to
pull up like that, though. I thought it was more she was just going to call and then maybe come like Beginning next season, and that was going to be like a reveal later on. But no, that was quick.
But she's just back as well, because she is.
Which that thing you mentioned about next season's going to be like a love triangle. That was very much there.
That was not about, you're stitching together some things I've said. That was about this season. That was them mentioning that there would be the dynamic of the three of them would be present in some way. You're kind of stitching that together with the fact that Karen will be in season 2 much more prominently, because we don't actually know if Punisher is at all. That's not confirmed. Frank might not be in season 2.
I mean, he does seem like he's going to escape by probably the time that. Like, if I'm right in assuming there's going to be at least another little bit of time gap, he's probably going to have escaped.
And by the way, even if
there was an end credit scene.
Yes, there is.
Of the final episode, which was a bit odd.
There is a post-credit scene.
But yeah, that was gory as fuck. Almost as bad as that head scene, but I care more about. Wait, the final episode was quite gory. And I'm a lot more breaking bones freaks me out more than like inherent immense amount of blood. So
I see. Yeah, I can see, which is weird. I don't have a problem with that at all. It didn't even like register to me, basically. Well, no, I mean, in terms of like that, because it's like, clearly they're going to bring things back to how not how they're meant to be. They're still going to be a very different dynamic, but Karen will actually be, one of the lead characters in season 2, like she's supposed to be. But it's like, I don't know if they're just going to just shoehorn them back into being in a relationship. I don't
He
think
doesn't
they
seem it.
are. No, and
The
they
thing is,
shouldn't,
she's
because
probably.
it's not the kind of thing where I feel like, oh, they should just be together because they deserve it. It's like, no, they don't. They both deserve to be with the right person, but it's so difficult to tell what that is, because especially if you do look at it as a love triangle, which you shouldn't. I don't think it's quite right, because
What do you mean
Frank
that's
is not.
quite right? They fucking stated it. Open your ears.
Yeah, but not
Like
in
it,
not
literally,
in the
he said he heard Frank's heartbeat when he saw her. He heard her heartbeat when she saw him, and then she also said, "Well, did you hear my heartbeat when I saw you?" And it was like, "Oh yeah."
It's not what a norm. It's not a typical. It's not a normal love triangle at all. It's not like, oh, they're all three of them are constantly fighting and whatever. Like, Frank does not want to be with Karen at all. He thinks it's completely wrong. He shouldn't be.
I
That's
don't
why.
know. I don't know where you pulled that from.
Because no,
There is nothing to support
he
that claim.
literally refuses to. Like,
I think he
that's why
refuses
he rejects.
relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's what I
he
mean.
thinks he doesn't deserve to be in a relationship. I think if needs must, Karen convince him otherwise. But I'm saying that if you can't, if there is, that is the very definition of a love triangle. Like Punisher clearly cares deeply about Karen because obviously she cared about him when no one else would, right? Like she stuck her neck out, and Karen obviously does also, and this was even in season 2, quite like Frank, generally. Like there is that there, as they mentioned, and obviously Karen and Daredevil like each other. So what is that? What do you call that kind of synergy? What do you call that formation? Oh, it's a love triangle. Oh, just because you're stigmatized to the term, aren't you? Like, it's just rule of thumb. Love triangles are bad.
No, it is one, but I'm just like thinking. But I'm essentially thinking that it's not, because it's not straight laced. Even though it is,
Yeah, because love,
it just has a
love
particular
and
dynamic.
yeah, like it's not going to explore it in the way that relationships or ping pong or anything like that.
No.
But loyalties might be challenged. Like Karen might have to pick between the two at some point. In not even love wise, just generally. And it will come down to who she loves more.
Well, yeah.
Ultimately.
So I mean, that's the thing about Karen might actually. There's the implication that she kind of agrees with Frank, like in general, which I think is really interesting. And there's also the thing
like
is, I think she
feels...
generally believes that Matt is the better person, but at the same time, Matt kind of knows that him and Frank aren't actually that different, which is kind of brutal for him. That's why I do love that scene in episode 4 between Matt and
Karen
Frank.
is quite weird because she obviously she understands the weight of taking lives, right? She's done it like at least twice, critically. Like I mean, I guess technically her brother wasn't her fault, but still, she kind of gets that taking a life is bad, but she also, her killing Wesley was a good thing, like a net positive. He was gonna kill everyone she knew and loved, and like anyone else, like he was, and her killing him was the only option, and it worked. So she she kind of sees both sides, which I think is the point, right? Like she's the middle ground between the two of them. She's the only hope of either becoming either, right?
That's weird. They just swap places.
Daredevil ever
Confusing.
breaking his no kill rule, or Punisher ever sparing anyone. She's probably the only person who could convince them either way. It's unlikely she wants to convince Daredevil to kill someone.
Yeah, I mean, see, Frank
Even though I
definitely
think that
wants
was
to.
implied at the end. Yeah, but it doesn't work either way.
I love that shit when it's like actually I can't. I feel bad because I can't remember the exact lines that lead up to it. But they're basically just arguing about whether or not they kill Cole, the guy who killed Hector.
Yeah.
And then Frank just offhandedly just shoots one of the other officers who's still breathing, just like without like the
His life matter,
slightest thought.
and he just like, yeah.
It's so, the way he is so. It's obviously it's extremely morbid to call it cool, but it is cool. It's what makes the Punisher compelling. It's like that complete acceptance of the position that he's in terms of
You're
morality.
a bad guy. Like your life is worth nothing.
Well,
Like,
he's
that is
kind of
Punisher.
accepted that even if he were to end up dwelling on it, which he doesn't. I know he doesn't dwell on this stuff, but he's at the point where even if he were, it doesn't matter. He's so far gone that he needs to be able to just. He's accepted that he's just going to make snap decisions where he's just going to kill a lot of people without thinking, and that he kind of just has to live with that
To do
because
otherwise,
it's
he'll
how
fail.
he's to live with that because that's just how he does things. It's like this is just what I do, so. I guess I have to deal with that, and I think he's at the point where he's also numb to it as well. Where even if he felt some kind of regret later on, he doesn't anymore, because he knows that he's going to do that again at some point. It's great. I mean, that tells you a lot, though. It's like about the production because of how much they kind of cram into the last 2 episodes, really. And even then, it's not everything.
Yeah.
That they could have done.
It's also,
but it's a lot.
But it's also like Daredevil really isn't trying to stop Punisher from doing what he does as much anymore either, right? Like obviously he did stop him from getting Cole, who then got exploded by a fucking grenade.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm pretty sure that it's weird because it's weird with how much importance is actually on that character because I think that I'm pretty sure there were set photos from season 2.
He is like a character in the comics as well, but I'm pretty sure he's like wildly different. Like from what I heard, he's like a really upstanding cop.
He's like actually the opposite of this. I tell you, isn't though that fucking little fucking minion pal, the one who
is he the other main guy from the Task Force?
Yeah. But he's great, by the way. He's perfect.
That's why I was weird because there didn't need to be 2 pieces of the task force, but there was him and Cole.
Well, that's what makes Cole weird because Cole is like so subdued, and that other guy is such a piece of shit. It's such
that you would have expected it to be the other guy.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'll tell you what I did like because like obviously I think everyone's pretty convinced that the filler episode, the Irish episode, is like a very pure remnant of the original production, where it's like this was one of the finished episodes, and it's much more in the vein of what you'd expect from an 18-episode season, where it's going to have filler, and that's why this season has 9 episodes, where season 2 will have 8 as well. I'm pretty sure because I think they just decided to leave it in, and it was also a good mid-season thing because they put it out alongside the next one. But at the same time, it was also pretty good, wasn't it? I think we both actually. In fact, pretty much everyone actually liked it. To be honest, that episode.
It was just like rule of thumb: bottle episodes are good.
Yep, that's true.
Honestly,
they are.
Like way more often than not, they are good. And a superhero bottle episode, there's always an interesting twist there, right? Like, and it was good. I think Kamala's dad was funny. He was just kind of there, and that was like a special guest, or that kind of thing. You could also look at it in this way that there's an implication that maybe Kamala might be in season 2, or I'm not sure what happens to the Marvels.
I mean, you see, the thing about that is honestly tone-wise, it just wouldn't work. She's too young almost, and too fun.
The thing is currently, but Daredevil, I think he rides both tones. He could easily ride a more lighthearted tone.
The character does, which like he can show up in something much more lighthearted.
Yeah, like She-Hulk.
Obviously, I guess Kamala's dad showing up kind of strains that a bit. Which is why it's like it's a contrast. Like in this season, this single season of TV, we have Kamala Khan's dad in like a whole episode and talking about like Miss Marvel and referencing his daughter like almost 5 times within half an hour. In the same season, we have like Kingpin. I don't even know what you would call it, crushing / smushing a guy's head apart. that's the thing that they were
Man,
talking about before it came out, just like the thing that they were surprised that they got away with. But
yeah, fair enough. But like, I don't get the whole tonal argument most of the time. I think as long as there's enough time between the two tones, and like the main character kind of suits it, which Daredevil does, I don't see a problem with it, right? Because I mean, this is like One Piece, for example. Just quickly mention, like it has wildly different tones, but they're generally separate, right? Like far apart. And I think it's just, you know, I don't see a problem with tonal shift.
no, I think I
in, like,
feel the
episodes.
exact same way. I'm just thinking, I literally just think about Disney's view of where they want
Yeah,
their IPs to be, what they want their stuff to be seen in. Basically, that's all I think about. Like I love stuff dancing between like very extreme differences in tone.
dark seriousness and then like levity, like that kind of thing, or like
I
you know, as
I
long as it
think
isn't
Invincible
during a
was really good at
dark
this.
season like scene, someone makes a funny line quip. As long as that doesn't occur,
I think Invincible's very good at that.
we'll be alright.
It's like it's
Oh yeah,
extremely serious and extremely brutal, but also not like
but
not
it's like
it's
you
not
know,
it's not, but it doesn't feel cynical either. If you're not, is what it is.
you know, like
Unlike the boys, which is just entirely cynical all the time, even in its
yeah,
like nicest moments.
and then also like generally quite silly as well. But yeah, like I don't know, I like the episode quite a bit. But it makes me think Kamala. I mean, I think because I was thinking like, you know, who else could he recruit? I feel like there's a good chance of anyone who's bumped into Kingpin along the road, like Echo. I'm not sure what her situation is after the show, but
No,
she
that's
could come
valid.
back.
Echo's very valid. I mean,
I
obviously,
feel
there's
like
the
I would
expectation
put
of the other defenders coming back.
put a lot of money on Hawkeye Girl. Like
Yeah, I mean, Kate Bishop
she
is
has two reasons to come back, right? Like not only is fucking obviously Kingpin's back and she dealt with him previous, but the swordsman is also involved. Who she does know him at least.
Yeah, I gotta wonder if well, I gotta wonder if Frank's gonna break anyone else out. You know, because the thing is with Frank, it's not automatic. He's not inherently there gonna be there for anyone else. You
He
know,
kills bad guys. He doesn't save good guys.
not all. Well, no. He's fairly likely to save someone from imminent death when possible, but he's not too likely to go out of
Only
his
if
way to
he's
free everyone there.
yeah, but only if that like good guy is like gonna die from a bad guy, because then he can kill the bad guy and then it saves someone. But I don't know. I think if someone was like angling from a building like far away, I'm not sure he inherently feels the urge to go save them.
No, he doesn't.
Like that kind of situation. But if someone was like pushing that person off and like, you know, dangling them, he'd probably go kill that guy,
Yeah,
which might inadvertently save that person.
but it's also just like
But
Jack. Well, the swordsman is like someone who is like it's just about important, just about enough for character where you can see him breaking out or
yeah,
being let out, and
but
also joining
I would say
the
no
team.
because but I would say it's more. There's two angles. I think first of all, having someone on the inside is not a bad thing, right? Like he would be in the cages. He would be the face of the cage vigilantes, right? So when like Fist would come and talk to them or talk to them, or just be listening, like that kind of angle, right? He would be the source of those cameras, if you get what I mean. But also,
I
I
mean,
feel
he's
like
kind of
that is once
already
again,
that with his own like his own endeavors. He's like very comfortable being this
yeah,
like high society socialite, um, like getting
yeah.
in
Like
with these people, but also being a
he's also
vigilante at
like,
the
you
same
know,
time.
him having gone missing might actually be noticeable because he's kind of big.
Exactly.
But I think with that, I think it is then going to lead Hawkeye Woman because she should probably her motivation is rescuing him. That's her goal from the whole ordeal. And I feel like, you know, I don't know. I think she's very likely due to Swordsman being involved.
Yep. I mean, also White
Well,
Tiger, very likely. To be honest.
oh yeah.
I mean, I thought it wasn't until I realised that's where
niece.
they were going with season 2. So it now feels very like, especially because that is the more prominent White Tiger anyway. Is the female version. Yeah. So,
although she is very young. You want to talk about Kamala? She is younger than Kamala. I'm pretty sure, right? Like 13.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I would bet the actress is older than 13.
Maybe.
It's always difficult to tell. It shouldn't be hard to find. Although it's not like the main like Wikipedia cast list. It has Hector, but not her. Recurring characters. Why did it have?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Let's see. Oh, this cast list is weird because it actually doesn't. It's weird. There's like a link on the Born Again Wikipedia where it says like the list of Daredevil TV series characters Wikipedia page, but that page only talks about like the original seasons, even though it links from the Born Again Wikipedia page, which is kind of weird. Oh no. I will say something though. Overall, that was very well done. In fact, it was slightly better. Honestly, probably better done than Daredevil's overall arc. I think just all the stuff with Kingpin was actually very like coherent.
Yeah.
And
I fell for it for hook, line, and sinker.
Did you? What do you mean you fell for it?
I've said multiple times that to you that I don't think he's actually the main villain. I don't think he's that bad, right? Like I think he's not that evil currently. But that was literally the game. Like he was actually like not being that bad the whole time, just so people kind of let him do what he wants, as he was slowly building up like that huge fucking plan, and he knew more than he let on, even to Vanessa, right? And like he was the Kingpin the whole time. It's the simple fact of the matter. He wasn't growing into the Kingpin again. He was the Kingpin.
Even though Vanessa is honestly even more fucked than ever as well. She's such. When you realize how like she's actually kind of an evil person, it's really weird because.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it is
exactly
Kingpin's fault.
Kingpin.
I think it's her. I think it's his fault, but it's still she's like fucked. Like how okay she is with like the ad. Like when she shoots Adam, I almost forgot that. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like Kingpin gave her the choice to either like kill him or let him go, and she just gunned him down.
Yes.
Then their relationship had never been better.
I mean it hasn't, which is kind of crazy. It's like this is rebuilt from this. This is why they sort of able to rekindle their.
Because I think it was like, I think obviously she felt like abandoned or whatever, but I think it really was like, as mentioned, the Kingpin didn't seem like Kingpin. Like she was really confused as to why he was abandoning the empire that they had to be mayor, and it just didn't make any sense to her. But eventually she realized, he kind of explained that this was all that thing that you were doing that had millions, say hello to billions, like kind of like his kind of thing. And it's like, oh shit, he'd been playing the long game. That ultimately now he's like more powerful than ever. He literally just owns New York, just straight up outright. Like, because at least like he would have been arrested previously, like even though he owned it. But like if he got caught by the police, he's not going to get caught by the police. He owns the police even more so than before.
It's crazy. He is actually in such a ridiculous position.
Yeah.
I think that is the Daredevil Born Again thing, though, where it's just like, I think it started off with Matt thinking that he had to just go to the sidelines and just be part of the justice system instead, and that's how he was going to do good because vigilantes just weren't working. And then it just builds and builds to the point where
he starts
to the point where he starts to realize that he kind of does need to be a vigilante. And by the end of the
It's
season, it's at its
systems working.
worst, where it's like, well,
Yeah.
there's no system anymore. It's actually it's kind of just vigilantes who are going to do good now. So it's like you kind of
Yeah.
have to be. It's like Daredevil is reborn whether you like it or not.
The fucking, I don't know why, but the scene during the blackout when like there was just some dude that like looted a building and the cop just fucking shot him dead there and then, and like now he's a vigilante, like masked vigilante, and he put like a hat over his eyes, like that shit that was real as fuck. like yeah, and that's just that. Yeah, and that's what Fisk wants, right? Like now, I mean, because essentially the cops are just vigilantes, right? Now they are even more, unbeholden to the laws. Because even the ones that aren't in the task force can do whatever the hell they want. And I'm sure if they, get caught doing whatever the hell they want, they'll be recruited into the task force. Like all the bad cops that have ever been fired, I think, pretty sure he brought back. Like that was the implication, right? Like any cop.
It's crazy. It's just I'm just gonna pick all the worst ones possible. Like, yep, you're who I need. It's like, great, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. And that's why I think all that stuff considered, it's why I can't help but be excited for season 2, because it's like it's just going to play with all the good that has been built up from this season, but actually factor in everything else that was, just factor in everything else.
It's going to be like,
Karen being back
like
properly is a good part of that, a big part of that.
It's going to be like Daredevil season 1. It's like that was what season 1 had, where it was like Kingpin. It was tearing Kingpin down from his position of power, right? It was just step by step, Daredevil, the lone vigilante. But this time he is too powerful, and he needs like an army, as he says. So it's kind of just it's going to be like an upscaled version of season 1.
It's why I honestly see the very first iteration of that, when it's like it's just a bunch of random police officers. I think that is meant to look inadequate, because he's going to actually build an actual team of capable people and other vigilantes.
Yeah.
I think that is meant to be a sort of very very modest starting point. I don't think it's meant to be, this is it, this will do. That's not. I don't think that's what it is at all.
Yeah.
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 It's like I loved this tweet. I mean, I basically referenced it earlier without quoting it, but it's just like I thought that when like he said like, oh, we need an army, I thought he was going to open that door and you see like defenders or something. It's just Cherry's goofy ass. It's like, fuck, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I did expect at least someone, but there was like no one in there, which only makes me think that the next season is going to be him building an actual team. It is going to be, like they also maybe they don't inherently know when they recorded this, like who they were going to have, who they wanted for the next season. They didn't want to add anyone that was a maybe, or like they weren't sure. Like they didn't want to add Moon Knight. I just really want Moon Knight. That's the simple fact of the matter. I wanted to see Moon Knight in one of those chairs. Like I don't care how, it doesn't make any fucking sense considering where the show left off. But I just want him so bad.
No, I'm with.
I don't know why.
I'm with you. I want Moon Knight as well.
Yeah,
I do. I think that'd be great. Much like this season of Daredevil, Born Again was. I don't know if I'd use the word great actually.
It right, because you gotta give it its fair dues. As far as the Netflix shows are concerned, not Netflix. As far as the Disney Plus shows are concerned, it is top 3 easy. Simple fact of the matter. Right?
Yeah, I would say that whatever your top 3 is, because I know not everyone's top 3 involves Moon Knight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Some people's top 3 doesn't even involve Loki. But I mean, I'd be surprised if your top 3 doesn't somehow involve this, at least, because it is.
Like most people would, I bet most people would just say this is the best thing on Disney Plus, best show.
I mean, it's the thing I've enjoyed the most. I've gotten a lot out of it. I mean, I love the original series, so it's definitely done a lot. And the fact that it doesn't feel like it's disrespected the originals.
My biggest gripe truly is the downgrade in action. Like genuinely, fight scenes are just not that great. They're not worth looking forward to, or like they're not like the best parts of episodes. To be honest with you, which is ironic considering it really sounded like it was going to be the opposite. That going into this, they were
Yeah.
going to be focusing on action more, and like really, really kind of like lowering the amount of people talking. Meanwhile, I would say people talking is the best part of this show. Some of the conversations that I had are fucking fire, and like the character
Yeah.
dynamics and the reveals, like
It
stuff like
was
that.
some
Like
of it. A
that
lot of
side
it was great,
really
and
quite good.
but that's the thing about the original Netflix series. It's such lightning in a bottle where it doesn't feel like either part was any worse than it should have. Like it was, all of it was as good as it should have been. It was like everything had just as much attention and care and effort put in.
Yeah,
like the fight. You could argue that the fight scenes are the best part about the original. All that the dialogue is.
but that's not because anything is. Yeah, it's not because any of it is bad, really.
I would say the
Yeah.
fight scenes are the best part of it, only because there is the possibility to see parts of Daredevil, the original Daredevil series. Like it's not, I don't think it's 100% consistent, because I do think in a lot of ways season 2 is a downgrade, and then obviously other people share or have other opinions.
Season 3 was the most
But
miserable
obviously,
fucking show
the
ever watched.
action literally never lets up. It's like the action is consistent. It's always good.
Yeah, so
throughout the
you
entire
could
thing.
say that yes, like season 2 was a low tier, but then you have the fucking one shot like a gang gun taped to hand scene, and it's like, oh, I'm watching a magnum opus in combat, like just awesome shit that stimulates primarily, which I will. I don't. The final Punisher scene of this season, we do that. I was like,
this is why. This is what. Well, not. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't say this is why, but I mean, I was excited for season 2. At the same time, also, if season 2 is, like, flawed, like I would also gonna be much more critical of season 2 as well. At the same time, it should be a lot better than this. Just everything that we know about it. So I would definitely be more keen-eyed for flaws. I would probably be more like picky about it, to be honest, than this one, because this is such a fucked production. The production is a bit more. Yeah, it wasn't great. Season 2 should be far cleaner and come together far better.
The only thing I'm kind of concerned about is like, I feel like you have to invent what Kingpin is going to be doing for the most part of the show. Like, which might be why that person you mentioned, that there's going to be someone else trying to like run against him, like or try and like counter him, because Daredevil probably won't be doing much against him while he's building up his team. Therefore, Fisk is just going to be businessing as usual, and there's no one competing against him technically now, because the commissioner's gone and he's in as much power ever. So like, I feel like Kingpin's plot is gonna feel very artificial. Like, just needs to be doing something because he's the second main character.
Yeah. Like honestly,
with
the setup, I can actually unfortunately see Kingpin's plot actually taking a bit of a downgrade next season potentially. Just from the setup. Like the setup is much more promising for what's to come with Daredevil than it is with what's coming with King. Like I think this is the best. The Kingpin stuff has actually been great in this season. That's the great part about it. The thing that's consistently good about this season.
Kingpin has not had a single bad moment. I would say.
Like I even like that he's also a little bit more. He is a little bit more jokey as well. Like honestly than he used to be, but he still plays it off so well.
Obviously, there's that GIF as well that like people fucking. I've been like standing up and clapping. Like it's fucking yeah. It was kind of funny, the whole him being this major huge crime boss having to like listen to kids singing because he's now the mayor, but I assume all that side of things are going to drop now, right? Like he is not going to be doing stuff like that anymore.
He clearly wants to go the direction of being able to be the Kingpin as the mayor of New York, rather than be the mayor of New York but secretly be a Kingpin.
He's not a secret anymore.
Like the commissioner literally says like, this is still the mayor's office, not the Kingpin's, and it's like, yeah, but buddy, you're about to get your fucking head ripped open. So I think that kind of tells you that what you just said is getting torn apart, literally. Like it is going to be the Kingpin's office.
Yeah. which that was cool, by the way. Just specifically
well,
note.
that part is that's the cool stuff for Kingpin. Is just the backdrop that he will provide for the next season. But it's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure how much it's going to do with his actual story. But obviously they have Karen
I feel
back,
like,
and so that's another side too.
Yeah,
Karen always has like her own subplot. So
there is also, I think, there's a very interesting character that we've not really mentioned, BB.
I wanted to like bring up someone like some bullshit character. I don't know who it would have been.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been, if you hadn't brought him up, I would have just said Daniel, just like blurted out Daniel.
Well,
BB,
obviously Daniel, but BB feels like she's like going to be the key, in my opinion. Like it feels like
BB could potentially end up being really tragic. I think it won't be tragic. I think BB will basically end up being like Ben Urich, but it won't. She won't get killed.
But she wins.
Yeah.
Like
hopefully.
I think she is going to be the key.
Well, Ben did, but he died. He didn't see that he succeeded. Obviously, he didn't succeed permanently, obviously, but he did. He did do what he set out to do. But
yeah, I think BB is obviously she's more morally like darker than because like Ben Urich never would have worked with Kingpin to get information, right? But she's willing to get in cozy to know more. But she obviously knows.
Well, that's that's the difference though, because Ben Urich he's literally the point. He's like this golden age reporter.
Like
it's like it's all good. He's not gonna cut any corners or anything. He'll talk to the bad people, but he will not. He's gonna he's I liked him.
But BB knows that espionage is.
I miss Ben Urich. I miss Raina Deem. He mentioned him. He mentioned Raina Deem mentioned. Whoa! Let's go.
Yeah. Like
her dragging the meds away from Bullseye was funny. It's horrible but funny.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
We didn't really mention him much, but yeah, Bullseye was for when he was there. Which was it just 1, 8, and 9 again?
It was. I mean, it was really only. Well, it was mostly 1 and 8, really, but 9. Yeah. Yes, that's correct. Well, yeah, because obviously that's like a part of the original series. Like that does tell you when it comes to like what the original plan for this series was. It was so all in on it's just Matt and Fisk. It's just Daredevil and Kingpin. That's it. That's all they thought it was. It's such a It's so misguided. Like it's like actually it's not misguided really, but it's just narrow. It's
Yeah, because the thing is, and this is the thing, is Matt and Fisk and Vanessa. Right? That's the thing. That is why Fisk has been great. This season there was no caveats. Fisk and Vanessa were like on point, I think. Right? It's a really cool the relationship being like on the fritz.
That's literally Fisk's through line. Like obviously he kind of sometimes has a supporting cast. And he kind of does. I mean, he always had like Wesley. Well, that's the thing about season 1. Actually, that was pretty good. I feel like the Underworld like cast was pretty great. Like you had like Leland as well, and Nobu and these characters. But then again, that's enough. That's the thing with Born Again. They did a pretty good job with Kingpin's like supporting cast. To be honest, you have like Daniel and Buck, and even like the Commissioner and Sheila. These characters kind of work well in his side of things. But Matt's supporting cast, that's the problem. Is it? Yeah, it's just so weak.
Matt Murdock is empty. If he isn't Daredevil, he's not really anything. Like other than Hector. Hector was good, but Hector was alive. There was stuff there. There was when he was on that case, that was fine. But working with the woman, she is nothing.
Yeah,
I think she should know who Daredevil is.
Actually, it's like when it's like thing like all the Daredevil side characters, like that Born Again side character of the week, and it's like we do not include Kirsten McDuffie in this. It's like you don't need to do that. You do not need to pretend that Kirsten is a compelling character. She's just not. I'm sorry, she's not. She's so weak. It's a shame.
Like
I don't want a character to be pointless, right? But she's.
Yeah, they have no real chemistry. Same goes for Cherry as well, right? Is the only thing is that he knows that he's Daredevil. That's the only interesting part about him. That is it. That he knows who Daredevil is. Because not many people do fucking nowadays, right? Because obviously one of them's dead, the other one's fucked off. So kind of needed to be someone, and I guess they just made it him. But yeah, there's nothing. There's no like I told you when I was watching.
It's like literally
Daredevil,
the moment
season
Frank
1.
shows up, it's such a fucking ray. It's like weird to say this, but it's a ray of sunshine.
All of a sudden, Matt Murdock has chemistry with someone. What? Like, whoa! Like someone who like they talk to, and they're actually like know each other, and you can feel it, right? And it's not like whatever the hell the other two are. Where apparently they spent a year. They've spent a year together. Like though Cherry woman. I genuinely don't know her name. And Matt, but it doesn't feel it at all.
Well, it's like literally,
really think that,
even though they're not like this because they don't really like each other, Matt and Frank feel closer because they got a lot more going on.
Yeah,
than he does with anyone else.
Yeah, the dynamic
so much more interesting, and that's why at least
it feels like the other ones are just colleagues.
At least Karen's back, but I feel like you kind of need a bit more as well. You need someone.
Yeah, Foggy.
Yeah, you need Foggy. Yeah.
Foggy back. Well, yeah, you have Frank, Karen, Frank, and obviously he's been captured, but I don't know. We should see a lot of new superheroes, which I'd say isn't inherently good, but there was a fair bit of chemistry in the Defenders.
Yeah, I mean,
between him and other characters.
He does. Like Daredevil has chemistry with everyone, pretty much.
Yeah, except his fucking colleagues.
Well, that's why I said Daredevil does.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I really
also
do want Luke Cage back.
Like because even when like Foggy and Karen didn't know Matt was Daredevil, they had thoughts on Daredevil quite a lot, and then Karen even met Daredevil, right? Like because he saved him, and yet like Cherry only saw him as Daredevil, was never actually been around him as Daredevil, never really done anything like that. And the other woman doesn't even have any thoughts on Daredevil. She's never even mentioned Daredevil. Like she literally only knows honestly, Matt as a colleague.
But she's barely gonna be in season 2, if at all.
Oh no! Think about all of the things we're missing. Her nagging that Matt is not as involved in work anymore.
Oh no!
That's it. That's it. That's the only thing she did ever.
God, women. No. I apologize.
No, because I did quite like everything I just said. I would say he's not. It felt rushed, but his relationship with the therapist was still something. Like, I feel like you could have taken longer, right? I do believe that they probably should have started. Like, they should have met during the year off. And so they had a while to develop, and like they're developing during the season, because literally it was like they meet in like episode 1 or 2,
and then like
they're living together
one.
They're living together by like 3 or 4, and now they're over by like 8 and 9.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely quickish. Yep. Yeah.
So but still, she was good. I like her. So there's a small grace. But once again, I mean, actually, because that was something, she did have a thought on Daredevil, right? She did care about vigilantes, and she was a more direct, like, what are you doing? Why do you keep getting beaten up? What's going on? I'm worried about you. She was actually the closest to a Foggy Karen kind of character. And yeah. And then she said that one line.
This is why I think I do think they need a more consistent, like, person involved in Matt being Daredevil, basically, to make it work. I think Bullseye is going to actually have a lot of play in season 2, and will be more of a Daredevil supporting character than anything else.
It would be.
I think he's going to be far more involved in Daredevil side of things than anything else.
I would love to see like a position where Daredevil has to work with him.
I mean, because they're great together as well. I mean, obviously, once again, it's a very hostile relationship.
Because Daredevil is like millions of times more friendly with Fisk than he is
He
Bullseye,
is. Yeah.
right? Like, Fisk, he started everything. He even made Bullseye. So ultimately, anything Bullseye does, Fisk is the cause of. But he still is very genuinely amicable between the two, personally, even though they obviously deeply, profoundly despise each other. Yeah, he just sees Bullseye and he just has to fucking slam his head in the table a bunch of times. Like he just has to fucking hurt that guy. And if he has to work with him, I think that'll be fucking interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
I really want that to happen. I mean, I wouldn't say anything I've seen implies that that's happening, but they're definitely going to have a lot of interactions. I mean, there's a.
I mean, you've at least seen that Bullseye's finally going to get like a Bullseye costume.
I mean,
right?
well, he does. He does have one. I mean, it's a tiny update. No, because he doesn't really. It's the same one he's already got at the beginning of this season, except they did add a very faint Bullseye logo to the forehead. Obviously, the flip side of that is what they've done with Matt, which is with Daredevil, which is far better, far stronger. This is ultra spoilers now.
Yeah, this is true spoilers.
Season 2, set photos and footage of Matt Daredevil not full black. It's still got like red, I think like the sort of the gear part. So I think the belt is red, I think, but also it's full black. So and it's got the red logo, double D logo on the chest, and it is very, very tasteful. It's far better than his suit from this season. Because I don't love it, to be honest. But I think the black and then adding the logo is great. But yeah, there's this footage of him and Bullseye literally fighting in Josie's again, which is crazy because it's literally completely closed down. It seems like, even though she's still there, I assume that she knows that Matt's Daredevil at this point. I assume that she can just put that together. I mean, she's one glint. Obviously, she's such she's an even more of a side character, but she's some sort of glint of a decent part of Matt's life.
It was a very nice scene when they kind of had to drink. Obviously, that was a spark moment for Matt, but she's just one of the nice characters.
But there's literally a scene of him throwing one of them throwing the other out through the window again. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you get into the situation again?
To read into it, the only real value that kind of scene would have is if they then have to work it out after.
And the value I would see in it is actually it's Bullseye showing up with non-malicious intentions. And then Daredevil
Matt
just
beating the shit
immediately
out of him.
Yeah.
Then eventually he'll have to stop.
Well, no, because I know from the footage that the task force actually show up during that, and they will probably be forced to stop, or maybe even fight their way out of that together. We'll just have to see.
I do. I as much as I say I don't like season 3 mainly because just plot is literally plot points are just stupid. They make no fucking sense. But goddamn love Bullseye.
Well, you you just like all the characters. You like Nadeem as well. It's like
I like the characters. I don't like the decisions they make. It was all so fucking stupid. The plot and bullshit like that. Which is the opposite to Elektra in season 2, who I did actually just hate.
Well, what stuff? What stuff like?
I
guess honestly, you can take season 1 for example of this as well, because you have these characters. These one-off side character porting characters for. Well, actually, I guess Nadeem definitely flirt. Well, actually, they both these characters flirt between both sides in terms of the story. But you have Ben, Urich, and Nadeem, and that means there's clearly a capacity to just add a character who is of weight and feels like a really healthy part of the cast.
That only exists in one season.
Yeah.
Which technically this time around it would have been Muse if you think it that kind of way, but it fucking won't be because he isn't that. He only does anything twice. Yeah, Muse is going to be forgotten. That's the simple fact of the matter.
And everything I know about him suggests that he probably shouldn't be because he's not. He shouldn't be just done away with that quickly. But
from what I've seen, he's already had one comic thing that I'm aware of, or one comic run at the very least.
Yeah. But there is a
But
difference between that and the White Tiger stuff, though, because obviously White Tiger is like seemingly actually very well done, based on what I know as well.
the White Tiger thing, because I think I mentioned it a while ago. That the defending White Tiger in the comics is like is the most popular famous court case in the Daredevil comics. So that was an adaptation of that. So that makes more sense. And I think Muse is fairly new anyway. It's not like he's actually beloved, I don't think. It's just new. Or newish, at least. But yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's I don't know if we want to like rate it. I don't know. Last time we did something like this was Deadpool and Wolverine, and we did. So, but that stuff's kind of arbitrary. It really depends on whether or not you have something in mind. If you've already like rated it yourself,
I feel like the best thing would be to rate all 4 seasons of Daredevil, because that would
do something
paint
like
the picture.
that. Well, what do you mean? Like, Joe, you mean like do you mean ranking as well, like order?
No, I mean like each 4 out of 10 each. You know what I mean? So like it would end up in a ranking, but not the specific point. The point is,
okay, that's easy for me. I'll go if I go in order: 9, 7.5, 9, 7.
All right. I'm thinking season 1 was probably 7.
Oh.
Season 2 was probably 6. Season 3 was 5. And then I think this season was 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it's as good as season 2.
I think
on
yeah.
average.
I mean, I gave yeah. You could easily go. That is actually yes. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
The Punisher part of 2 is significantly better than most of this entire season.
Yes, well, yeah, that's
However,
for sure.
2 has the whole Elektra thing, and a complete lack of Kingpin for the most part.
Yeah, I do think Stick improves some parts of that, but that's not in the first half. That's not.
I suppose Stick. Honestly, I completely forgot about Stick, like as a character.
Which is not. That's not very fair. Stick's great. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm not sure.
This is like a couple episodes more in Defenders, which is ultimately what he was for in the end. Yeah.
I mean, it might also be equivalent to Defenders as well. Defenders was. Actually, no. Did you like Defenders even less though?
Defenders. Defenders. I liked it because I liked Elektra in Defenders, which was handy.
That's not very fair. She's not really a person in Defenders.
Okay. I think you just proved my point. She in the end she kind of was. I liked her whole, realizing who she was and then still being evil. I think that was kind of cool. I like obviously Matt and Luke Cage. Didn't particularly like Danny Rand.
Nobody fucking does.
I think Jessica Jones actually grew on me as time passed. Like I'm not dreading having to watch it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't dread watching Jessica Jones season 1.
All right.
Because it's got David Tennant in it. But
yeah. Yeah, probably like 5.5. So like, worse than those 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think I would probably say Born Again is actually Born Again could potentially be, well, let's say season 1 of Born Again, potentially more watchable than season 2, depending on how much of a problem you have with it, because it's a lot longer. Born Again season 1 is like overall short episodes and less episodes. It's definitely a brisker watch than season 2. So if you find, and then obviously that could go for any seasons of Daredevil as well. If you find parts of the original series like you don't like a lot of an aspect of a season. Born Again could easily be like a brisker and easier watch because it's quick. Also, they've obviously forced to not binge it in this case though, so it's kind of hard to gauge the actual pacing. I do wonder if on a rewatch if this season is actually a bit of a slog. That would be weird. Oh, I guess we could might be able to establish that.
Like it couldn't be.
I don't. Well, that's the thing. I don't know for sure if I'm going to rewatch this before season 2. I might not. I might not. To be honest, very early to tell. See, it'd be like how long it's felt since when season 2 is about to come out. Like how long did it actually felt?
Like I think about it, and how many like things occur throughout the show, right? Like the the first episode is kind of warm up, and then I think mainly it's like 2 or 3 episodes of the court case, right? And then you switch over to Muse for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then the final couple have been very much like Kingpin focused.
It's weird because you're actually going to miss out 2 episodes, though, which makes me realise that the episode with
one of them was the Irish bottle one.
Yeah, and the other one has Punisher in it, but that episode didn't really do much, really. Actually, when you think about it. Like that's actually the most like weird. That's the most lopsided episode actually. The fourth episode because all he does is really visit Frank and that's it.
I think it was more of like a mourning period, right? It's like because he goes to Frank because he found the bullet of Hector IRD like
IRD.
Sure. Like he was kind of it's more of like it's an episode of like Daredevil really reassessing his ideas and goals and like am I doing the right thing, should I be doing more, let's go talk to Punisher about it because that's a good idea, and then ultimately there was that whole scene which I think you could definitely say is a highlight of the entire show, this season and previous. It's just generally a highlight of those characters of a scene.
Hell yeah.
So credit to this season. Like, and it's it's my mentality on most like shows or new things, is that if it gives you anything of value, it was worth it. Right?
As long as it doesn't take away more value, but that's very difficult, I find, for something to do.
It's just the only way is just character, like backtracking a character arc from a previous season. That's really the only way of doing it. Which Umbrella Academy season 4 doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. That fucking thing is a lie.
There was a 4th season.
It ended in 3.
I didn't even know there was a 4th season.
Yeah, no, there isn't. So that works out.
No, there isn't. But there is a 4th season of Daredevil, and it's called Born Again Season 1, and that's okay because it's good enough for that, and it's probably gonna get better from here. But it's about time to wrap this up. I need a piss.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother to tether this to the rest of the channel. No point.
All in all, if you've watched this far and you haven't watched Daredevil, you're a psychopath. But also, you should do that.
It's probably
as much as I may not have enjoyed all of it,
TV series ever.
Yeah, yeah. And then also watch Punisher because it's cool.
Yeah. Also watch the must. No. Okay. Bye. Actually, we'll probably, I don't know when we'll do something else like this. I don't know. Could be Doctor Who maybe. I don't know. But we'll definitely do one on next season. So bye. This was Double Barrel. Ah, yes, my favorite YouTube series, Double Barrel.
Yeah, if you're subscribed only for this, you're probably quite sad.
Double Barrel fans. Halo Infinite's getting Double Barrel soon. Oh my god. Holy shit, finally.
I think I just uninstalled that.
Yeah, I've just been put off by installing it. I think I have to play some now because I actually really want to use that weapon. Alright, I've got to go. Like, I've got to go.
Piss boy.
You could have left that out. Bye.